The royal wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana is legendary. On July 29, 1981, Diana Spencer made the 3.5-minute walk down the aisle of St. Paul's Cathedral in front of 3,000 guests and 750 million television viewers while donning a lavish taffeta gown with a 25-foot train via BBC. She was going to be a princess by the end of the day. Keep watching to see the truth about Prince Charles and Princess Diana's divorce. Prince Charles and Diana Spencer met a few times before marriage. The marriage of Prince Charles and Princess Diana was presented to the world as a love story. As Diana recalled to her biographer Andrew Morton, "I remember being so in love with my husband that I couldn't take my eyes off him. I simply absolutely believed I was the happiest girl in the world." Diana did believe she was in love with Charles at the time, via Oprah magazine. Sadly, the fact was that Charles and Diana were essentially strangers when they were married. In actuality, they had only ever met a few times before getting married. Diana said on her own records, which she made in 1992 with voice coach Peter Setlin, "We met 13 times and we were married," via Cosmopolitan. Additionally, Charles and Diana were seldom alone themselves during these 13 encounters. They truly didn't know one another at all, according to royal historian Penny Junor, who told History Extra. Prince Charles and Princess Diana were different ages. Princess Diana was barely 20 years old at the time of the wedding. She had been 19 when Charles proposed. It's understandable how they would have been ill-matched from the start, given the couple's age difference of more than 10 years. However, as veteran royal writer Stephen Bates told Time, not many appeared to be bothered by the age gap at that time. In an interview with The Guardian, Charles even made light of the age difference, joking, "I suppose that Diana will keep me youthful, aside from anything else." The age disparity did, however, eventually become apparent as a significant source of marital issues. Diana married at a very early age, after all. Reader's Digest said that because of the 12-year age difference, their personalities were not compatible. In fact, it's commonly accepted that it was a major contributing cause to their final divorce. Princess Diana did not know regal lifestyle. Princess Diana was poorly unprepared for the significant life changes that occurred with being a royal due to her youth and inexperience. She was a romantic and innocent. She knew nothing about life, work, or relationships, according to royal writer Penny Junor, who also said that Diana was nothing more than a kid when she first came, wholly unprepared for the world that lay ahead, and absolutely out of her depth, via Express. Diana thought being a princess would be like living in a real-life fairy tale, but the reality was far different. Like Diana once told E! News, "I felt that my individuality was stolen away from me, and that I was taken over by the royal machine the day I went down the aisle at St. Paul's Cathedral." Diana struggled not just with the obligations of joining the royal family, but also with the invasive media attention that went along with it. Diana said that the constant media attention was an isolating experience, in an interview with PBS's Frontline in 1995, via Romper. She finally separated from Prince Charles as a result of such pressure. Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles stayed in love. Marriages, whether royal or not, seldom succeed when one's partner's emotions are elsewhere. In the early 1970s, Prince Charles famously dated Camilla Parker Bowles, according to writer Jonathan Dimbley. He fell in love with her practically right away, via Town and Country. Camilla was nevertheless engaged to Andrew Parker Bowles by 1973. Based on the fact that they ultimately got married in 2005, it seems that Charles was never able to overcome his affections for Camilla. Charles was desperately unhappy married to Princess Diana, according to Karen Mooney, a former royal household employee who spoke to The Sun. For Charles, the marriage was merely an alliance based on royal duty, and he was unable to give Diana the love she craved in the early years of their marriage. Obviously, he was in love with Camilla Parker Bowles at the time, but he was the next in line to the throne, so he had to find somebody to bear his heirs, and he did what was expected of him. Naturally, the couple eventually got divorced. The royal couple's divorce was prompted by Princess Diana's battle with mental illness. Throughout her relationship with Prince Charles, Princess Diana battled bulimia, depression, and anxiety. As she recalled in interviews for Andrew Morton's biography, "My husband put his hand on my waistline and said something like, 'Oh, a bit chubby here, aren't we?' And that triggered off something in me. In 1995, he told the BBC the eating disorder was a symptom of what was going on in my marriage." Diana's mental state became worse within a few months after her marriage. She said, "I was going to slit my wrists." She met many psychiatrists who allegedly prescribed her hefty doses of medicine, saying, "I came back to London to seek therapy." However, as Diana noted, time, patience, and adjusting, that was all that was required. Charles allegedly handled Diana's mental condition poorly. He attempted to get assistance since he didn't comprehend her emotional outbursts, according to the Daily Mail. In fact, it said that Charles was so upset by these things that he needed to visit a therapist for 14 years. Prince Charles didn't support Princess Diana before their divorce. Princess Diana's interviews for Andrew Morton's book reveal that Prince Charles was seldom ever at her side during their marriage. Diana described one instance, "I was heartbroken and desperate, and I was bawling my eyes out. When Charles ignored me, I hurled myself down the stairs." Diana said that Charles told her she was crying wolf. She replied, "Charles went out riding." Diana also said that Charles and the other members of the royal family did little to counter the unwelcome and hostile press coverage. She reported that more than 30 cameras would often be waiting outside her house. She said, "I had no help from Charles or the press office. You're on your own," they simply stated. It is simple to see how Charles' lack of support may cause conflict in the marriage and ultimately result in a divorce. It's hard to fully understand what transpired between Charles and Diana, but it is certain that their relationship was troubled, doomed from the start, and tragically terminated.